Hello everyone, sorry it was a bit glitchy. I'm not quite sure what happened again, but I'm going to pop the music on, have a little boogie, and we'll just wait for everybody to get back into the room. Play. Gives me time to get a coffee. How are we going? Sorry everybody, there was a glitch. I'm going to start again, but I'm just going to wait for a few more people to get into the room before we get going, okay? Thanks for coming back. Oh, hello Jasmine and your new puppy Winnie. Right, I'll wait till there's about 400 of you back in the room and then we'll get going again.
Wait to be what you become. You can't wait for your affirmation. You can't wait for your approval. You can't wait for your support. Sometimes you just gotta run and look behind you and say, everybody who wants to run, but I can't stop running because you're not running. Listen to me, hear me. You can't stop chasing your dreams just because somebody in your life is chasing you. You can't stop believing in yourself just because somebody in your life won't believe in you. You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you know when you do it, you're gonna have to do it all by yourself.
Okay, I think it's time to start. Pause. Okay, sorry about that. There was another glitch. I'm not very technology minded, as you will probably know. And we've just, what a lesson for everything to go wrong. My board has just snapped. So we'll just have to work around that. There was a glitch. I'm very sorry. The internet connection went down, but I'm back and it looks like most, if not all of you are back. So that's absolutely fantastic. And we will just get on with the lesson. I will do the shout outs again because I know how important they are to all of you. I'm still in disbelief that I've just broken my lamp. That's my clipboard board, but never mind. So hello to Emmy, who is 9 in Sheen. Shout out to Sophie and Josh, who are 11 and 9, who are from Amersham. Hello to Charlotte, who is 10 in Bletchley. To Eddie S. at Pixbrook and everybody at Pixbrook who I know will be looking at Shakespeare when they go back to school. Hello to Henry, who is 11 in Plimpton. Shout out to Emily and her dog Zoe. Hello to John T and Leo in Norwich. To Simon Green, who would love a shout out. Hello to you. Hello to Lucy Butter, who is 8 and watches every single day. Thanks, Lucy. It's lovely to have you here. Hello to Alice, who is 11. Shout out to Buckingham Primary School, who are watching today. Hello to all of you. And a big shout out to Bella in Lichfield and Ayana in Maidenhead, and to Esther, who is 12 in Lancashire. And also to Charlotte and Harry in Ickley, and to the Hutters family from Kent, to Izzy, who is 10, Louis in London, who loves my videos, to Esme, who is 11 in Glasgow. Hello to Daisy Hampton, Daisy in Hampton Court. Sorry, Daisy, and she loves Bertie. So do I. And a big shout out to Mac and his Border Terrier in Somerset, to Roy, who is 9, and Emmanuel, who is 14, who are in Croydon, to Arthur Buckingham, and Leia, who is 8, and Eva, who is 12 on Saturday, and they are from West Churlington, and to Sophia in Barnet. Wow, that is a lot of shout outs, but thank you all for tuning in and for asking for these shout outs. So, time to get on with the lesson. If you've only just made your way back into the room, we've got a little bit of a dilemma here that my lamp that I use as my board has just broken. So just going to have to work around that today. So today we are looking at A Midsummer Night's Dream, which is a fabulous play. Lots of you, particularly younger learners, if you've looked at any Shakespeare at school, there's a good chance that you've looked at this particular play. It's got fairies, it's got love triangles. It's a wonderful fantasy. And we're just going to dip our toes into it today and do a couple of activities related to it that you might have done in the classroom yourself. So the first thing I'm going to ask you to do, whilst I work out how to hold my board up, I'm going to ask you to do a brainstorm of everything you can think of related to magic. It can be magicians, it can be words related to magic, it can be synonyms for magic. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to give you about 1.5 minutes to do it. And as always, you can shout your answers out at the screen, you can jot them down on the page, you can discuss them with your siblings or your adults. How you learn in this lesson is entirely up to you. Okay, I'll pop the music on and off you go. Play. Harry Potter, sparkle, spell, wand, witch. Fairy tales, potions. Oh, we're going to come to potions, don't worry. Worst witch. Right, the chat is going so fast. Goblins, dragons. Okay, lots of lovely fantasy vocabulary coming through. Unicorn, magic, glitter, warlocks. Enchantment, lovely. Brooms, mermaids. I think my eyeballs are going to explode. There's so many fabulous ideas coming through on the live chat. Okay. Are we ready to move on? Pause. Okay, right. Still can't believe that board has broke. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is read you the story of A Midsummer Night's Dream. And as always, when I tell you about a Shakespeare play, I do have a printed version in front of me because the plots are really complex. That's what makes them so special. But I don't want to miss anything out, and I want to make sure that I don't waffle too much and go off on tangents. So this should take me under 2 minutes to read. So I need you to make sure you've got your ears out, that you're focused. And if you do lose sight of who the characters are and how they interrelate, don't worry. I think Shakespeare was aiming for that when he wrote most of his plays. But you can look up a plot summary on YouTube afterwards, and you can see short versions, cartoon versions that will explain it to you once again. Okay. So we start the story of A Midsummer Night's Dream with Theseus, who is the Duke of Athens, and he is preparing for his marriage to Hippolyta, who is Queen of the Amazons. And they are planning to have a 4-day festival of pomp and entertainment and food and dancing. And he asks his master of revels to find suitable amusements for the occasion. And we will come to that amusement shortly. So Aegeus, who is an Athenian nobleman, he marches into Theseus's court with his daughter Hermia and 2 young men. This is where we start to see a love triangle, Demetrius and Lysander. Aegeus wishes that Hermia would marry Demetrius, and Demetrius does love Hermia too, but Hermia is in love with Lysander and she refuses to do what her dad asks her to. Aegeus asks for the full penalty of law to fall on Hermia if she does not follow his will. Theseus gives Hermia until his own wedding to consider her options, and he warns her that disobeying her father's wishes could result in her being sent to a convent or to be executed. Nonetheless, Hermia and Lysander, they plan to escape Athens the following night, and they plan to marry in the house of Lysander's aunt, which is very, very far away. In fact, it's 7 leagues distant from the city. They make their intentions known to Hermia's friend, Helena. Now, Helena was once engaged to Demetrius, who loves Hermia. But Demetrius saw Hermia, decided not to marry Helena, and that hurt Helena's feelings. So she tells, hoping to regain his love, Helena tells Demetrius that the 2 of them are going to elope together, and she kind of hopes that it might send Demetrius back to her and maybe she will get her guy after all. At the time that Lysander and Hermia are to elope off together, Demetrius goes into the woods and follows them, and then Helena follows Demetrius. So we've got Lysander and Hermia going off into the woods to run away together. We've got Demetrius following them because he wants Hermia, and then we've got Helena following Demetrius because she wants Demetrius. In these same woods are 2 very different groups of characters. The first is a band of fairies, including Oberon, who is the fairy king, and Titania, who is his queen. And she has recently returned from India just to bless the marriage of Theseus and Hippolyta. So it's quite exciting times going on. The second group of people is a band of Athenian craftsmen, and they are rehearsing a play that they're really hoping they will be able to perform at this big marriage ceremony of Theseus and Hippolyta. So Oberon and Titania are at odds over this young Indian prince that Titania was given, and the boy is so beautiful that Oberon wishes to make him into a knight, but Titania refuses, and seeking revenge, Oberon sends his merry servant, Puck, important character here, to acquire a magical flower, and the juice of this flower, if it's spread over a sleeping person's eyelids, it can make that person fall in love with the first thing they see when they awake. Puck obtains the flower, and Oberon tells him of a plan to spread its juice on the sleeping Titania's eyelids. But having seen Demetrius act cruelly towards Helena, so Helena's following him, trying to get him to go with her and not follow the other 2, he orders Puck to spread some of the juice on the eyelids of the young Athenian man. Puck encounters Lysander and Hermia, and he thinks that Lysander is who Oberon was talking about. So Puck afflicts him with love potion. Lysander happens to see Helena when he wakes up. So Lysander, who has run away with Hermia, wakes up and sees Helena and falls in love with her. He then abandons Hermia, which upsets her. And as the night progresses, Puck attempts to undo this mistake, and both Lysander and Demetrius end up in love with Helena, whereas originally they were both in love with Hermia. So this is more than a love triangle. This is like a love 12-point star. Hermia becomes so jealous that they now love Helena that she tries to challenge Helena to a fight. Demetrius and Lysander nearly fight over Helena's love, but Puck confuses them by mimicking their voices. He's a cheeky little fella, Puck, and leading them apart until they are completely lost in the forest. So there's all sorts of magic and love and twists and turns happening in this magical forest. When the fairy queen wakes up, the first creature that she sees is Bottom. Bottom is the most ridiculous of the Athenian craftsmen who are practicing their play. And Puck has mockingly transformed his head into a donkey's head. So the queen of the fairies is falling in love with this ridiculous actor who has magically had his head transformed into a donkey. It's getting really crazy now. It's like some weird dream. She passes... Right, sorry, we'll move on. Eventually, Oberon, the fairy king, he obtains the Indian boy that he was after, that he wants to turn into a knight, and Puck spreads a love potion on Lysander's eyelids, and by morning, all is well, everybody is back to where they should be, and everyone is happy again. Theseus and Hippolyta discover these sleeping lovers, so people that have come back from, the young lovers that have come back from the forest, he discovers them, and he takes them all back to Athens to be married. Demetrius now loves Helena, so those two are happy. Lysander and Hermia are happy, and there's a big group wedding. The lovers, they all watch as Bottom and his fellow Athenian craftsmen, which are known as the mechanics. They perform their play, which is a fumbling, hilarious version of the story of Pyramus and Thisbe, which is a bit of a sad love story. It's absolutely the funniest part of the play. It's my favourite part. I love the mechanics. And then when the play is completed, everybody goes to bed, and the fairies briefly emerge to bless the sleeping couples with a protective charm. Then they all disappear, and only Puck remains, and he asks the audience for its forgiveness and approval, and to urge them to remember the play as a dream. Okay, so it's full of fantasy. Now, if that has got you really interested, then like I said, do go and have a little look on YouTube afterwards, and you'll find lots of really short summaries of the play, so you can get your head around that complex plot. But now that we've got that done, we're going to move on to another activity that I don't have a board to put it on, but that's not a problem. So I would like to talk to you a little bit about love potions. So I want you to get a little bit creative. You can put your Shakespearean hat on if you want. Have a think about what would you do if you had a magic love potion? How would you use that? I'll pop the music on. I'm going to give you a minute or so. You can pop ideas into the live chat or discuss at home or jot ideas down. Or just have a boogie around the room. Play. Oh, Henry says that he would give it to a baby. LJ said, smash it and then sell it. Drink it.
You can't stop chasing your dream just because somebody in your life will chase you. You can't stop believing.
Give it to people that wouldn't have love.
You can't stop chasing the dreams of your life just because when you know.
Mix it with chocolate. That's a great idea. I think chocolate has already got quite a lot of love potion in it. You would make your enemy fall in love with someone they hate. Well, whoever put that, you've definitely got some Shakespearean writing skills there. Give it to people to make them happy. Some lovely ideas. Okay. Pause. Okay, so thank you to those of you who've said poor Holly has to stand there holding it herself. That's absolutely fine. My coffee will go cold, but I'll have it afterwards, and just means I have to work a tiny bit harder today, but not a problem. So some lovely ideas about what you would do with a love potion. Don't forget, in the play, it is used originally by Oberon the Fairy King to distract his fairy queen so that he can take that Indian prince for himself to turn him into a knight. But then when he sees how Demetrius is unkind to Helena, he then wants to use it to make Demetrius fall in love with her so they can be happy. But it all goes horribly wrong. So maybe there's a moral there that using magic doesn't always go according to plan. But let's move on. So what we're going to do now is look at a couple of quotes from the play and see if we can try and decipher what they might mean. Bonus points if you can work out who says them. So the first one we're going to look at. Are you sure that we are awake? It seems to me that yet we sleep, we dream. Okay. I'm going to pop the music on. I'll give you 30 seconds. Have a good think. As always, you can jot it down, call it out, pop it in live chat. Play. Okay, lots of you are saying puck. And Lysander, I can see. Pause. Okay, this is actually said by Demetrius. So if you remember, Demetrius follows Hermia and Lysander into the woods and is followed by Helena. And he says in Act 4, Scene 1, are you sure that we are awake? It seems to me that yet we sleep, we dream. And what he's saying here is, are you sure that we're awake? This seems like maybe we're dreaming. And I think that's quite true for a lot of the action that happens in the play. It's full of dream and fantasy and magic. So that's what Demetrius is saying in that quote there. We're going to do one more. And then we may need to tie up the lesson because we did have the glitch on the beginning. So I'm going to have to shorten things ever so slightly today. So this one, lovers and madmen have such seething brains, such shaping fantasies that apprehend more than cool reason ever comprehends. Love this one. So I'll give you 30 seconds to have a think about this one. Play. Okay, some of you are saying Oberon, some of you are saying Puck. Are you ready? Let's have a chat about it. Pause. Okay, this is actually said in Act 5, Scene 1, which is right at the end of the play. And it's said by Theseus when he discovers the younger Athenians in the love triangle, when he finds them asleep and they start talking about these weird things that happened in the forest the night before. And he's saying here that people in love and madmen, they have crazy hallucinating thoughts, and those thoughts are such shaping fantasies that apprehend more than cool reason ever comprehends, that they're not able to think calmly and with reason, that their minds are just completely taken over by their crazy or hallucinating thoughts. Okay, so that's what that quote means there. So Betty's getting all excited because his daddy and the girls have just got home. So this does bring me near enough to the end of the lesson today. Bertie, stop. So I've got here, I'll post this on the Facebook group later. It's an outline of all of the characters in the play and how they interrelate with each other. It's really useful if you're finding it all a bit complicated. There are lots of these available online. Okay. If you are watching on catch up, you'll be able to pause this, have a good look, and then get back to the video. So we are at the end of the video. If you are new to English Live, you can download this document from the English Live Resources Facebook page with 6 different activities that you can do after the lesson to extend and consolidate your learning. There's some really, really lovely ones today. It's perfect weather, I think, this afternoon to sit outside and watch a child-friendly version of a Midsummer Night's Dream. So if you are able to do that, do it, please do. Thank you very much for joining me. Sorry for the glitches today. Sorry for this ridiculous board. I'm going to have to come up with a better plan for tomorrow. Tomorrow I am doing capitalisation and word classes for Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 2. And of course, on Friday is the weekly Spellathon. We will have Mummy English, April. She will be announcing the winners of the Facebook cover photo competition that I've been running, and she'll be announcing that by live video link. So make sure you do tune in on Friday for that. Thank you very much for joining me again today, and I will see you tomorrow or Friday. Bye-bye.